Perseverance, the continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failures, or opposition. Have you ever started something and haven't followed through? Have you bought a course and you didn't finish it? Have you started to work out and you didn't work out until your body actually got into shape? I mean, chances are, if you're watching this video, you're wanting to have more perseverance. You're wanting to be able to keep driving even when things get tough, even when things get challenging. And I think that that's a big problem for a lot of people these days, is because like a dopamine fix is one click away. Like, have you ever noticed, like, if get uncomfortable or something, or maybe you notice in someone else, like, they get uncomfortable and the first thing they do is bust out their phone? Like, you're in an elevator or something, right? And a stranger comes in, and then rather than have that awkward moment of, like, having to say hello or, like, just stare off into space, everyone busts out their phone. He's like, I'm busy doing something here. I'm busy doing something. And it feels good because you're getting those Facebook likes, you're getting all this stuff. And it's really hurting people's perseverance because there are a few things that build perseverance. But first, let me tell you a quick story about an example of perseverance in my life. Okay, so here goes. It's actually pretty painful, and I haven't told this story before, but it was probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I started this, and I started working an insane amount of time. It cost me my relationship. I ended up I was working about 100 hours a week at least, right? And I'm working 100 hours a week. My only friend was a dog, and because I had this dream, I wanted to save up this money. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to sell on Amazon, right? I joined. I don't know if you know what the Amazing Selling Machine is. I joined the Amazing Selling Machine. I saved up all this money for investment. I was working a ton. I ended up briefly sleeping in my van so that I could save up enough money to buy inventory for this product that I was developing, right? And so I was working 100 hours a week, plus I was working on my Amazon business at the same time, okay? And then I decided, out of the blue, because I was losing my mind after years of doing this. I was listening to the likes of Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, and Les Brown, especially Les Brown. You gotta be hungry, he'd say. And I remember I just like have to get all psyched up, but I just knew like I couldn't physically keep working that hard, all right? Because I was partnered with this guy, and we were buying truckloads of water heaters, right? In some parts of the world, you call them boilers. In some parts of the world, you don't have them. You have like the instant ones on demand that you just plug a cold line in and then you turn on. Well, in the U.S., we have these big tanks. All right, they're heavy tanks, and so I went around selling these tanks. We'd advertise on Craigslist, and yeah, so I was working at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sometimes, like if I only worked for 12 hours, it wasn't that bad. All right, that's how I felt about it because I would start around 7 a.m. and then if I'm off at 7 p.m., then okay, cool. I can catch some food at a restaurant, and I don't have to eat like at like a bar, right? I'd have to eat at a bar a lot because so I work for years and years doing this. I save up all this money, and then I decide, hey, I'm gonna move to Thailand. I'm gonna move to Thailand and I'm just gonna do great. I'm gonna have all this money. I'm gonna have all this stuff, right? And then I came here and I sort of just lost it. I lost my drive. I lost my determination. I lost everything. I underestimated the difficulty psychologically of adjusting to a totally new culture that was not, I mean, San Diego. It would have been a culture shock for me to move to New York, okay? Moving to Thailand, that was a huge culture shock for me. And so I got here and I just kind of lost it. I started hanging out with tourists, I started spending a lot of money, and then before you know it, my business failed. My business failed, and I was left with this choice. And I remember I have enough money to either stay here in Thailand or I can fly back to the United States. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I'd rather die than go back to my old life. And I said, I'm pretty sure I'll figure out a solution if I stay here, right? And so I stayed in Thailand. And what ended up happening was I didn't find a solution fast enough. I ran completely out of money. I remember being starving. All right. So I'm getting kicked out of my condo. Like I'm starving. I'm getting free bananas from the fruit stand guy down the street. I remember being down to my last 20 baht. And if you've never been to Thailand, I mean, that's under $1, right? I didn't have money to buy noodles. And I was looking out in the woods for the nearest cave to sleep in. Okay. And I remember my condo was on the 13th floor. And I remember looking out that window more than a few times, wondering if I should take a leap out of that thing because I saw no solution. I saw no answer. And the last time I stood in that window and was looking down, I said, you know, I'm tired of being weak. I said, I'm either going to jump out this window right now or I'm going to get my shit together and I'm going to figure something out. Well, here I am sitting in front of you. I'm glad that I didn't jump out that window now. And what was it that got me to turn my life around was an extreme degree of perseverance. And perseverance to me, after all of this, being able to completely stabilize my life, being able to completely find discipline, make the right decisions to position myself properly and appropriately, and having the drive to follow through when things get difficult. I think that the big challenge for me was when I left, I had this big cash reserve. I had a lot of cash. I didn't have to work immediately. I didn't have to. I mean, I could just fly around. I could just have a great time flying down to the islands, sitting on white sandy beaches, doing that whole deal, living that hashtag digital nomad lifestyle, right? But what it did to me was it was like I was too comfortable. As Les Brown would say, I lost my hunger. I wasn't hungry, right? And so by the time I got hungry, I lost so much momentum that my business was failing down and it was crashing down and it was a downwards death spiral and there was no way to pull it back up. Okay. So how do we avoid that now? Because right now I've got a nice cash supply. I'm sitting on it. I could like not work for a year, right? I don't have to be making this video right now. You noticed I'm not trying to sell you anything with these videos. I just want to deliver value, okay? And so how do you go from procrastinating, from sitting down in front of a task, not being able to do it, not following through with the courses, not following through with the diet, not following through with the morning ritual in the morning? How do you prevent that from happening? Well, the answer is discipline. And what is discipline? I mean, more specifically, self-discipline. Okay, because the word discipline, at least for me, had a really negative connotation behind it. It was, getting spanked as a child, or getting yelled at. Or for me, I was in the Marines, so it was like getting yelled at and beaten down, and like the whole United States Marine Corps stuff that went down there. And so discipline for me. I didn't like that word. It seemed like a dirty word to me. And I don't know if it seems like a dirty word to you or not, but what I'm saying is it's not a dirty word. You should embrace it because it's completely what changed my life. Okay? And so how do you develop self-discipline? Well, the answer with that is really habits. All right? They work hand in hand. And how do you start developing discipline? Well, for me, it was developing a morning ritual. And I'm pretty sure it's the best way to develop discipline because everybody gets thrown off during their day. You have this task. You're supposed to finish a report. If you're in college, you're trying to finish an essay, or you have an assignment to do, or if you're at work, you have a deadline to meet. If you're starting like a course on the internet to start an online business or something, I mean, you might just be procrastinating because, hey, it's easier to make my brain happy by scroll feeding and getting that dopamine fix than it is to actually do work and maybe run into some of that pain, some of that difficulty, some of those setbacks, some of those failures. Like I might fail if I try, but I can feel good by just scroll feeding. I can feel good by just scroll feeding. I might feel pain if I try. Now, I might feel tremendous pleasure as well. But I want to avoid that pain. And that's really what is going on psychologically when we avoid the things that we know that we should be doing. All right. And the same thing's true with the gym. All right. The same thing's true with anything good in life. Walking up to that person that you want to have a relationship with and having the courage to say, hey, I like you. What's your name? Where are you from? What are you interested in? And so since it's easier to just scroll feed, that's what we do. All right. And so how do you build the initial discipline and how do you start a morning ritual? It's just get up. Get up. I don't know what time you normally get up. I mean, if you're working or if you're stuck inside with the coronavirus, it's easier because you can just get up whenever. I recommend getting up at a decent hour if you're stuck inside, at least by 7 a.m. Me, I get up at 5 a.m. because I know when I have to start working. And if I don't get up at 5, then I don't get my morning routine in. So it's like you have to schedule it. All right, you have to schedule it and you have to know exactly what you're going to do because morning time, waking up, out of bed, you're tired, it's early, it's dark out, is not a time to try and figure out a morning routine. Okay, so you have to plan it a little bit ahead of time. You have to say, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. All right, and you might program it into your phone. You might write it down onto a sheet of paper. That way you can remind yourself in the morning. Stick that thing up on the wall. All right, and set your alarm. Set 3 alarms, in fact. Set one on your phone, set one on your tablet, set one on your watch, set one on your whatever, on your computer. Set alarms, all right? Get your ass up out of bed. Get out of bed. Go over, drink some water immediately. Turn off your alarms. Make your bed and start your morning routine. And that's really where it starts. That's really where it starts. That's where perseverance begins. It begins with discipline. You must have discipline. Without discipline, everything falls apart. Without discipline, if you don't want to have discipline, turn off this video now because nothing else that I say is going to work, okay? There's no hacks for this. There's no hack of how to just hack your brain to have unlimited drive and think. And all these people that say that there is, they're liars. And I bet you they're selling a course to you. And you might even be silly enough to give them your money. But here's the answer, and it's free advice. Have discipline. Set an alarm. Get up. Have a morning ritual. Now, this morning ritual should include at least 2 things. Should at least include exercise and journaling. Exercise or some sort of written planning, okay? Exercise and written planning. Now, a couple more things that I suggest are some sort of gratitude and some sort of meditation, all right? I kind of blend all of these things together, and I have this morning routine. If you want to hear more about that, click the link down in the description. It's how to wake up early and feel motivated all day, okay? It's a video that I did. It's gotten a lot of views, and I think that it's pretty good. I didn't have my lights yet, so I'm looking a little dark in that video, but I promise you it's high quality material. It's what I do, and I think that it can help you out too. And so discipline, all right? And once you have the morning discipline set out, start planning. Start planning in your morning routine, in your journal, in your planner, however you want to do it. Start planning at least 3 things every day that will push the needle forward. 3 things that you want to achieve every day, all right? Now, once you do this, and now I'm not saying you're always going to get those things done, okay? So like try not to kill yourself there. Getting up and doing the morning ritual is a win because you're exercising your brain, you're meditating, you're training your focus with meditation. And so that's a win. So every day you get up and do your morning ritual, you do your exercise, you're getting physically stronger, okay? You're getting physically better. You're getting mentally better. Every day you do that. Every day you do that, you win, okay? And everything on top of that is a bonus, Okay? And so don't expect it to be perfect right away. You're like, well, I did my first morning ritual this morning and I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done. It doesn't work that way. It's like training a muscle. Okay? So if you've ever spent time going to the gym or something, or gotten in shape in any way, shape or form, you realize that you don't go to the gym one day and then the next day you're suddenly buff. Okay, and so the same thing is true with perseverance. The same thing is true with discipline and drive. Okay, so productivity is a muscle. It's called effectiveness. Steve Covey wrote a book on this. Okay, and it takes some time to become truly effective. Just like building a muscle, effectiveness is a muscle too. And it gets stronger each day that you do your morning ritual. Okay? And if you don't do your morning ritual for a while, it will atrophy and it will shrink. Okay? And you'll become mortal again. So if you want to be superhuman and you want to have superhuman productivity, you must have a morning routine. I know I've been harping about this probably too long, but I just really want to pound that home to you how critical this is if you really want to be able to persevere even in the darkest of moments. Because when my business failed, I started doing my morning ritual again. And it was only through that I was able to live. Period. I found magic in my life. The only way that I had anything positive, any light in my life was this morning ritual. Okay, so do it. If you're not doing it and you're wondering why you're procrastinating, do the morning ritual. Watch the How to Wake Up Early video, links in the description, and apply it. Please apply it. Okay, and if you have any more questions, you can reach out in the comments below. If you want a more in-depth video on morning rituals, leave it in the comments below. I'll shoot you a video. It'll only take one person to ask for it, and I'll make a video just for you. Okay, so the next thing is what happens even though you have your rituals down and you fail, or somebody discourages you, or something horrible happens, an earthquake happens, coronavirus happens, something completely unforeseen happens. And it boils down to one thing. How bad do you want it? Okay? Wanting it's not good enough. All right? You have to have the discipline. You have to have the morning ritual. But having the morning ritual isn't enough either. These things have to go hand in hand. Okay? So how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You have to want it more than you want anything else. So how are you going to do this for yourself? You're going to have to talk to yourself. You're going to have to journal about it. You're going to have to write it. You're going to have to just drive yourself insane. Napoleon Hill called it a burning desire. A burning desire, right? And so how bad do you want it? Does it burn in your heart? Does the desire burn? Because if it doesn't, you might still achieve it. I'll be honest with you. You might still achieve it. If it's a small goal, if it's just getting into shape, maybe you'll achieve it. But you'll stop making progress as soon as a big challenge happens. Maybe someone in your family gets sick. Maybe a loved one dies. Maybe something will happen. You'll lose your job. Something will happen and it'll throw you completely off of your routine and you'll just give up on your dreams. And you might be saying, but JR, someone dies, that's a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal. But it's going to happen. We're all going to have people die in our lives unless we die first. And I hope that doesn't happen to you. We all have people die. We all have bad things happen. We all had COVID hit, and that's affected us all in some way, shape, or form. So these crazy events are going to happen. And how bad do you want it is going to have to be your mantra. You're going to have to come up with a mantra that demonstrates how bad you want something. And that's going to help keep you disciplined, and that's going to help keep you on track to make progress every day. Okay? And so, as far as your daily activities are concerned, overcoming things, it's really not as important. Now, that might sound counterintuitive from a guy that's just harping on how important a morning ritual is. But the morning ritual will give you momentum to achieve the things that you might not feel like you want to do, to overcome those problems that are happening in your life, right? Because if you discipline your morning, it's going to carry throughout your day, and it's going to make it more effortless to do the things that you might not have wanted to do before. You might have been afraid to do it. You might have felt like you were incapable of doing it. All right. And so there are a lot of mindset skills that you can do, affirmations and things. And if you need more mindset stuff, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can see all my new videos come out, because they're going to help condition your mind to be more productive, to think the right kinds of thoughts. All right. Because that's a big thing. That's a big thing. What questions are we having inside? What kind of self chatter do we have inside our own brain? So, do I have anything else important here? How bad do you want it? It's the last thing I wrote down. So, let me just ask you one more question. Why are you here? Why are you watching this video? Are you going to apply it? Or are you just watching it to make yourself feel good? Are you just watching this video just to hit some of those dopamine receptors to feel like, listen, I am successful because I'm listening to this guy talk and I heard that self-growth is so important. But let me tell you this, from my heart, if you don't apply this, you're always going to be a loser. I don't want that to be, all right? So apply what I said, apply it immediately. And you want to know what time to apply it? Right now. Set your alarm for the morning time. Set yourself up for at least an hour or two before you should normally be up. That way you have time to do your morning ritual. And then jot down some things that you want to do. You want a quick version? Wake up. Do some exercise. That can be jumping jacks. That can be push-ups. That can be pull-ups if you have a bar. That can be crunches. That can be whatever kind of body weight exercises you want. You can go to the Google Play Store, download Home Workout. Just type Home Workout. It's the top one. You can go to the iOS store, the Apple store, whatever it's called. Type Home Workout. It's the first one on there too. And they have a 30-day challenge on there. Do it. Do it. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Second thing you want to do is make sure you're drinking plenty of water with that first thing, by the way. It's going to get your whole body wound up. You don't want to be dehydrated working out at the beginning of your day. It's going to be bad. Okay, and so second thing you want to do after that is jump yourself in a cold shower. Now, I know people in Texas right now are really freezing, and hopefully it's warm inside your house, but take a cold shower if you're not going to freeze to death while you do it, because that's going to kick even more discipline into your body. It's going to tell your body, like, whoa, this guy is serious. I better do what he says or he's going to make me jump in this freaking shower again. Now, that sounds counterintuitive, but long story short, with what we have going on inside of our bodies, we have this emotional body, we have this mental body, right? It's like the brain versus the heart or the gut, and they're constantly battling, right? Gut has its urges. It wants to eat junk food. It wants to, scroll feed on Facebook. It wants to do like all this stuff. And then we got the brain that has all these goals and all this logic and all this intelligence, right? But they're battling, all right? And so you have to submit that body portion of it. You have to submit those urges, all right? And so that's what jumping in a cold shower does. That's what getting up and exercising right away does, okay? And so as soon as you figured or finished up your shower, jump on a computer, get out a pen and paper, however you want to do it, and just start writing. Write your thoughts. Write how you're feeling. Write anything that's bothering you. Write down any ideas that you've had. Write down any ideas that you had while you were exercising or in the shower, okay? And then say, what 3 things could I do today that would either position me better to achieve my goals or be needle pushers in the right direction? And if you just come up with 3 things to do every day and do them, and you do that every single day, 7 days a week. Now, you're not going to be perfect at first with your morning ritual either. So don't just give up if you quit one day. So if you make it 4 days and then you get a day off, just jump back on it on the fifth day. It's just like working out at the gym, like I alluded to earlier. Now, working out at the gym, if you miss a day going to the gym, now you're not going to suddenly be fat, all right? But if you miss a day and then you quit, you're going to get fat again. Okay, so just be as consistent as possible. Things happen, especially like I said, as you're just getting into a habit, you're gonna have all of this trash habits still trying to act on your habit life. Okay, so it takes a little while to cut new grooves in the brain so that you're thinking properly all the time, so that these behaviors become automatic. But let me promise you, they do become automatic eventually. Okay, so if you miss a day on your morning ritual, you know, brush it off, get up the next day, and forgive yourself. Don't forgive yourself until you do it, okay? But forgive yourself the next morning. Be like, oh, man, I'm so thankful I'm doing this right now. I'm so thankful I'm doing this. Next thing with your morning ritual, while you're journaling, you can write some things you're grateful for. Come up with at least 5 things you're grateful for, why you're grateful for them, and then come up with some sort of mantra for the day and say, you know what, this is what my day is all about. Look at what you want to achieve and what is the overall theme of what you're doing that day. Make it sound really cool, make it sound really juicy, something that's exciting for you to do, something that you're going to love, something that you're going to be proud of, all right? Because you're becoming that person right now. And each day you do your morning ritual is making you become a better, more successful, happier, healthier, and more lively you, okay? So this has been JR Cook. If you like this video, I hope I've earned your subscription. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the all this stuff. Leave me a comment down below what kind of videos you want to hear about. Let me know what you liked about this video, and that way I can double down on the content that people are enjoying the most. So this has been JR Cook, and I'll see you next time.